Welcome to Tooltech Geek. This is a clone of SOG Power Access. Each bug budget has a review. I'm gonna put a link to it. I want to discuss the mechanism, how they copy the compound leverage, but not exactly. I'm going to test the tools and I'm gonna discuss possible modifications because this is relatively easy to take apart and make your own modifications. So first of all, the compound leverage mechanism. This is very unique. Here is the power axis, and it has like multiple pivots, 4 here and 1 for the pliers, which produces a multiplication of force. So they replicated that exactly. However, they didn't implement it perfectly. In the SOG, they are very good at making use of materials. For example, they have this really thin steel that's still very strong, and they make it take very little space. Here it took more space, and they had to add some extra metal here. This tool is designed with some grooves here to accommodate the end of these pivots, making room. And this one copied those grooves, but the pivots got nowhere into that space. So my explanation would be that they were trying to make it exactly like this, but something went wrong. So they had to add this extra metal. And that would explain why they have such big spacer here between the tool, because with this much space you could put more implements. So I think originally they just wanted to put 4 exactly like here, but when something went wrong when building the plier head mechanism, they had to add these thick spacers. However, for modding purposes, this could be interesting because it means there's a lot of room to add our own tools. So I tested the tools. The file works relatively well. It's not the sharpest, but it works. This is a kind of like a 2D screwdriver. It kind of works, but you can see that it's been damaged by using it, so it's not a good sign. This other screwdriver is very rounded. Doesn't seem very useful. I use it for other purposes such as prying or whatnot. This is the blade, not tremendously sharp. It's very much modeled after the one in the power axis. You can see the shape is pretty much mimicking that blade in terms of being long and thin. You have these locks here, which could be a problem. I'll show you why. So here is the saw. It works, but it is a little bit short. The awl works, not super sharp, but does the job. This is just a flathead screwdriver, nothing much to it. Here is a can opener and bottle opener combo. I thought this would be really bad, but it actually opens a can. So now with respect to the locks, when I was using the awl, not this one, this one, I noticed something. These locks are very much in a place where you would push. So if you were operating this, you may accidentally unlock the tool. So that's a pretty bad design. I guess you need to find a way to use it differently. This is kind of the most intuitive way to hold something, but you could accidentally push this open. So that's an unfortunate way to do it. In the SOG tool, the locks are opposite of where your thumb is, so you don't have that risk. Moreover, in the SOG, the tools are in the outside, so they are ready to deploy very quickly, versus in this tool they are on the inside, so you have to first open it and deploy your tool and close it. More steps, so that's a little bit awkward. So all in all, I don't think this is a very recommended tool because, for example, this doesn't speak well of it. I just did we're just trying to drive screw and this started to get damaged. So, however, you have compound leverage that produces a lot of force. That's interesting. The other thing is it has the holder for bits here, for 1/4 inch bits, and it comes with a set. So you could use these bits here, so that's all good. It doesn't seem to have a magnet, but somehow this seems to hold the bits nevertheless. Well, not so much. Let's see. Depending on how exactly you grab them, sometimes they hold. So that's good. The toolset is the most lacking, which is also the conclusion of Nathan from HBug Budget. And what I was thinking is, what if we remove the tools and replace them with something else? Now to remove the screws, you could use a Torx bit, but I found more useful to use a screw extractor, because this will allow you to not damage the Torx grooves. This, especially if this is made of a somewhat soft material, This is an easier way to remove the pivots. So I found this to be very useful, this Apex screw extractor. Okay, so I just removed that. And we can pretty much pull out this pivot. It's gonna have 3 big spacers and then 1 small on each side. But then pretty much you can just get all out. Here the small spacers fell out. Looks like they're magnetized. Then here these tools come out. Now if you were to copy this profile, you could make a 3D printed piece or a laser cut piece and replace here. Or if there's another tool that you could grind into this shape, which there will be some work, you could basically just replace this with a better tooling. But all in all, it's relatively easy to remove the implements. Sometimes multi-tools have springs and things that make it very complicated, but this is not. This seems to be friendly for modding, which I think it was interesting. Something I noticed is that when you put it back together, if you don't tighten it enough, it's not gonna work very well. So I'm putting it back together, and this needs to be tight enough for this to work, and looks like that's good. Can give it a little extra. And it's ready to go. In conclusion, this could be interesting only if you're a collector and are intrigued by how they made a copy. That's good. Interesting if you want to do mods. Other than that, as a tool as it is, I think it's a bit limited. The materials and the tooling is a bit heavier than the Power Access. Yes, it's about half the price, but still not a very developed perfect tool, more of a concept. So that's what I think of it. If you're a tinkerer and want to play with it, yes, maybe buy it. Or a collector if you want to use it really for reals. Not so much. Thank you for watching.